Officer Reed did not move right away. His eyes stayed on me, steady, waiting for a signal that never came. Morales shifted his weight, one step forward, then stopped when Reed gave him the smallest shake of his head. Linda stepped closer, her heels clicking sharp against the pavement, her voice rising like she owned the air. "Are you just going to stand there?" she snapped. "He is dangerous. My son told you what happened." Ethan nodded, still holding my groceries, squeezing the plastic like it meant nothing. The bag stretched. One more second and it would tear again. Reed finally spoke, but not to her. "Everyone take a step back," he said, calm, controlled. His tone cut through the noise better than any siren. A few neighbors obeyed immediately. Others hesitated, phones still raised. Linda did not move. She planted herself between the officers and me, like she was directing traffic. "No," she said. "You need to detain him now." Her finger pointed straight at my chest. The same chest that carried a badge every day, just not today. Morales glanced at the broken groceries on the ground. His jaw tightened. He knew what he was looking at. Spilled food. No signs of struggle. No threat posture. Just a mess and a story that did not line up. Reed's radio crackled softly at his shoulder. Dispatch was still connected. Every word was being logged. Linda kept talking, filling the silence, digging deeper with every sentence. He refused to cooperate. He raised his voice. "He scared my son." Ethan shifted behind her, but he did not drop the bag. He did not look scared. He looked annoyed that this was taking too long. That was the second mistake. Reed's gaze flicked to the HOA golf cart. The fake compliance decal. The blinking amber light. He had seen that before too. Not authorized. Not registered. Not cleared through city channels. Small things, but they added up fast when you knew where to look. I bent down slowly and picked up one of the oranges that had rolled near my foot. It was bruised but intact. I wiped it once against my sleeve. No one stopped me. No one told me not to move. That silence said more than any order could. Linda noticed it too. Her voice sharpened. "Why? Is he not in handcuffs?" she demanded. The question hung there, heavy, out of place. Reed exhaled through his nose, slow and measured. Then he turned his body just enough to face her fully. "Ma'am," he said, "we are going to sort this out step by step." She scoffed. "There is nothing to sort. I already told you what happened." Reed nodded once, like he had heard it all before. Because he had. He looked at Morales. A silent exchange passed between them. Years of training in a single glance. Morales reached up and tapped his body camera. It beeped softly. Active. Recording every angle now. Linda's smile flickered for the first time. Just a crack. Small, but real. She sensed the shift but did not understand it yet. Ethan finally loosened his grip on the bag, just enough for one carton of eggs to slide and drop. It hit the pavement with a dull break. The sound echoed louder than it should have. Reed's eyes moved back to me. Waiting. Still waiting. And the moment stretched just a little too long. The egg yolk spread slow across the pavement, bright yellow cutting through the red sauce and white milk like a warning sign no one wanted to read. Ethan stepped back half an inch, just enough to avoid it touching his shoes. He still did not drop the bag. Reed watched that movement closely. Not the mess. Not the noise. The choice. Morales shifted again, this time placing himself slightly between Linda and the rest of the lot. Subtle. Controlled. Not for protection. For positioning. Linda noticed the shift but misread it completely. Her voice grew sharper, louder, like volume could force reality to match her version. "This is ridiculous," she said. "You have a witness. You have evidence. What more do you need?" Reed did not answer her. He crouched down slowly, one knee near the edge of the spill. His hand hovered over the broken carton, then stopped. He did not touch anything. He just looked. The way a trained eye reads a scene. Angles. Placement. What fell where? What should not be there? His radio crackled again, a low voice asking for status. Reed pressed the button once. "Stand by," he said. Calm. Measured. Still in control. That word shifted the air. Not escalation. Not de-escalation. Control. I stayed where I was, orange still in my hand. Sticky now. Warm from the sun. Linda paced once, then stopped, heels clicking again. She looked at the officers, then at the neighbors, then back at me. Calculating. Adjusting. "He is refusing to comply," she said, slower this time, choosing each word like it mattered more now. "You need to take action." Morales finally spoke. "Ma'am, step back behind the line." There was no line. Not painted. Not marked. But everyone understood it instantly. Linda hesitated. Just a second. Then she stepped back. That was the third mistake. She had just acknowledged their authority over the space she claimed to control. Ethan shifted his grip again. The plastic stretched, thin and loud. One more movement and it would give. His eyes flicked to me, then to Reed, then back to the bag. He was starting to feel it now. Not fear. Pressure. The kind that creeps in when the script stops working. Reed stood up slowly, brushing nothing from his hands because he had not touched anything. He looked at the ground one more time, then at the golf cart. The amber light blinked again. Steady. Unbothered. Reed walked over to it, just 2 steps, and ran his fingers along the decal. Community Compliance Team. He pressed the edge lightly. It peeled just enough to show it was recently applied. Not official. Not approved. He did not say it out loud. He did not need to. Morales saw it. I saw it. Linda did not. Not yet. Reed turned back toward the group. His posture changed slightly. Not bigger. Not louder. Just settled. Like a decision had been made. He looked at me again, this time holding it a fraction longer. Waiting for the moment. The right moment. The one that would lock everything into place. The crowd leaned in without moving. Phones steady. Breaths held. Even the siren in the distance had faded now, leaving a quiet that felt heavier than noise. Ethan finally let one corner of the bag slip. A single can rolled out and tapped against my shoe. Soft. Hollow. Final. Reed took one step forward. And everything shifted with it. Reed's boot stopped inches from the crushed carton, his shadow cutting across the mess like a line no one wanted to cross. He did not raise his voice. He did not rush. He just looked at Ethan's hand still gripping what was left of my groceries. Set the bag down, Reed said, calm and flat. Not a suggestion. Not loud. But it landed harder than Linda's shouting ever could. Ethan hesitated this time. A full second. Then another. His fingers loosened just enough for the plastic to creak. Linda stepped forward again, fast, trying to fill that gap. Do not listen to him, she snapped at her son. They work for us. Remember that. The words hung in the air, heavy and wrong. Morales turned his head slightly toward her. Not fully. Just enough. Ma'am, he said, quieter now, that is not how this works. Linda laughed, sharp and quick, like she had heard something ridiculous. I pay HOA dues. I know exactly how this works. Another phone lifted from the crowd. Someone zoomed in. Someone whispered a name. It moved through the air like static. Reed did not look at them. He kept his eyes on Ethan. Last time, he said. Set it down. The bag slipped from Ethan's hand. Not dropped. Released. It hit the pavement with a soft thud, tilting sideways. A loaf of bread slid out and landed near the spilled sauce. Quiet. Almost gentle. But it changed everything. Reed nodded once, small, controlled. Good, he said. Then he straightened fully and turned toward me. The shift was subtle, but it pulled every eye with it. Linda opened her mouth again, ready to push, ready to reclaim control, but Reed raised one hand slightly. Not to stop her. To pause the moment. Sir, he said, and the word carried across the lot like a signal. Not loud. But clear. Morales stepped back half a pace. Space opened around me without anyone being told to move. Linda's expression flickered. Confusion first. Then irritation. Why are you addressing him like that? She demanded. Reed did not answer her. His attention stayed on me, steady, waiting. The same way it had been since he stepped out of the cruiser. The same way it always was when something mattered. I looked down at the orange in my hand, then at the ground, then back at him. The weight of the moment settled in. Not heavy. Just precise. Linda stepped closer. Again, her voice rising to cut through it. Officer, I am telling you, he caused this. He refused to cooperate. He is trespassing on private HOA property. The words stacked on top of each other, faster now, less controlled. Morales glanced at the storefront sign behind us. City-owned plaza. Not HOA land. Another detail. Another crack. Reed finally spoke again, still to me. Are you injured, sir? He asked. Simple. Direct. Procedural. Linda blinked. That was not the question she expected. Not even close. Injured, she repeated, almost laughing. He is the problem. Reed did not look at her. Not once. The silence around that choice grew louder than anything she said. I shook my head once. No, one word. Enough. Reed nodded. Understood. He reached up and tapped his own body camera. The red light blinked steady. Already recording. Already live. He turned slightly, angling his shoulder toward Linda now, but his voice stayed even. Ma'am, I need you to lower your voice and step back. This time, it was not a request wrapped in politeness. It was a line being drawn. Linda felt it. Everyone did. She opened her mouth, then stopped. For the first time since this started, she did not have the next word ready. Her eyes moved between Reed, Morales, and me, searching for something that no longer fit her version of the scene. The amber light on the golf cart kept blinking behind her, steady and fake. And the moment she realized that, everything started to unravel. The air shifted the second Reed's tone changed. Not louder. Not sharper. Just final. Linda felt it before she understood it. Her shoulders stiffened. Her chin lifted again, but this time it looked forced. You are making a mistake, she said, slower now, like she was trying to regain control of something already slipping. Reed did not respond right away. He took one step to the side, giving himself a clear line between me, Linda, and the scattered groceries. That angle mattered. It always did. Morales mirrored him without a word. The space tightened. Not physically. Structurally. Linda was no longer the center of it. She just had not realized it yet. Ethan looked down at the mess near his shoes. The bread. The eggs. The crushed carton. His jaw flexed once. Then he kicked a small piece of shell aside, not hard, just enough to clear it from his path. That small movement drew Morales's eyes immediately. Another note. Another detail. The kind that stacks up fast. Reed finally spoke again, voice even. "Ma'am, I need you to confirm something for the record." Linda blinked. That word again. Record. It slowed her down just enough. "What?" she said. Reed nodded toward her phone. "You called 911 and reported a threat. Is that correct?" Linda straightened. This part she liked. This part she thought she owned. "Yes," she said quickly. "He was aggressive. He refused to comply. He intimidated my son." Each word landed harder than the last, like she was building something solid. But it was already cracked. Reed did not interrupt. He let her finish. Then he asked, "Did he make physical contact with you or your son?" A pause. Just one. But it stretched. Ethan looked up. Linda hesitated. Then she shook her head once. "No, but," Reed lifted a hand slightly. Not cutting her off. Just stopping the sentence from growing. "Thank you," he said. Simple. Clean. That answer locked something in place. Morales shifted his stance again, this time turning his body slightly toward Linda, not away. The direction had changed. The focus had changed. Linda felt it now. Fully. Her eyes narrowed. "What is this?" she asked, voice tight. "Why are you questioning me like this?" Reed's gaze stayed steady. "Because you initiated an emergency response," he said. "We are required to verify the nature of that call." The word required landed differently. Not optional. Not negotiable. Linda's grip on her phone tightened. Her knuckles showed white for a second. Then she forced a smile again, thin and brittle. "I told you the nature. He is the problem." She pointed at me again. The same gesture. The same direction. But it no longer carried weight. Not like before. Reed followed her point with his eyes, then looked back at her. "Understood," he said. Then he turned slightly and looked toward the storefront cameras mounted above the entrance. Small black domes. Quiet. Constant. He held that glance for half a second. Longer than needed. Linda followed it. Her eyes flicked up. Then back down. A flicker of something passed across her face. Not fear. Not yet. Awareness. Ethan saw it too. He shifted his weight again, this time stepping back from the spill entirely. Creating distance. Creating space between himself and the evidence on the ground. Morales noticed. Of course he did. Reed stepped forward again, closing that space Linda had tried to reclaim earlier. "Ma'am," he said, voice still calm, "I am going to ask you to remain right where you are." Linda opened her mouth, ready to push back again, but something in his tone stopped her this time. Not the words. The certainty behind them. She stayed. For the first time since this started, she actually stayed. The crowd went quieter. Phones steadier. Even the breeze seemed to hold. Reed glanced at me once more, brief but clear. Then he looked back at Linda. And this time, the question he asked changed everything. Reed's eyes stayed on Linda, steady, unblinking, like he was waiting for something specific to surface. Then he asked it, simple and clean. "Ma'am, are you aware that filing a false emergency report is a criminal offense in this state?" The words landed harder than anything before. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just precise. Linda's smile froze. Not completely gone, but no longer natural. "I did not file anything false," she said quickly, too quickly. Her voice tightened at the edges. Reed nodded once, like he expected that answer. "That is why we are verifying," he replied. No emotion. Just process. Morales shifted his stance again, now fully squared toward Linda. The orientation had changed completely. The center of gravity had moved. Ethan felt it. He took another step back, this time putting a full 2 feet between himself and the groceries. His hands were empty now. He kept them visible, low, like he had seen in movies. That detail did not go unnoticed. Reed's radio crackled again. Dispatch asking for confirmation on the incident type. Reed pressed the button. "Stand by. Possible false report." "Scene secure," he said. The words cut through the air like a line drawn in permanent ink. Linda heard it. Her eyes widened for a fraction of a second. Then she recovered, fast. "Excuse me," she snapped. "You are accusing me now?" Reed did not flinch. "I am clarifying the situation," he said. The distinction mattered. Linda stepped forward again, but only half a step this time. Her confidence was no longer full. "You are making this bigger than it is," she said. "This is a simple matter." He refused to cooperate with community guidelines. Reed glanced briefly at the storefront sign again. City property. Public access. Not governed by HOA authority. Another silent correction. "This is not HOA jurisdiction," he said, still calm. "This is a public commercial plaza." That sentence shifted the ground under her completely. Linda blinked. Once. Twice. Her mouth opened, then closed. She did not have a response ready. Ethan looked at her now, not at me, not at the officers. At her. Waiting for direction that was not coming. The crowd leaned in again. Phone steady. Someone whispered, louder this time. A name. Mine. It carried just enough to reach the edge of the circle. Linda heard it. Her head snapped slightly toward the sound. "What did they say?" she asked, sharp, almost defensive. No one answered. Reed's gaze flicked to me for a brief second. A check. A confirmation. Still waiting. Still giving me the space to choose the moment. I said nothing. Not yet. The silence stretched again, but this time it worked against her. Linda shifted her weight. Her heels scraped lightly against the pavement. The sound was small, but in the quiet, it echoed. Morales took one step closer to her. Not aggressive. Just present. "Ma'am, I need you to remain calm," he said. "We are going to resolve this." The word resolve felt different now. Not quick. Not simple. Linda exhaled sharply through her nose. "I am calm," she insisted, but her voice betrayed her. Reed let that sit for a second. Then he spoke again, slower this time. "You stated there was a threat. No physical contact occurred. No weapon was observed. No attempt to flee. Do you want to revise your statement?" The offer was clear. The exit was right there. Linda looked at him, then at me, then at the cameras above the storefront. The black domes that never blinked. Her reflection faint in the glass behind them. For the first time, she saw the whole picture. Not the version she built. The real one. And she realized she had already said too much. The silence stretched long enough to feel uncomfortable. Linda's eyes stayed locked on the cameras now, not on Reed, not on me. She swallowed once. Then she forced a small laugh, thin and brittle. "This is being blown out of proportion," she said, slower, more careful. The confidence was still there, but it had cracks now. Reed did not move. "Ma'am," he said, steady, "I asked if you want to revise your statement." He did not repeat anything else. Just that one line. Clear. Final. Linda shifted her weight again. Her heel scraped the pavement. The sound was sharper this time. "There was a misunderstanding," she said. "That is all." Ethan nodded quickly beside her. "Too quickly." "Yeah. Just a misunderstanding," he added, his voice lower than before. Reed watched both of them without blinking. "A misunderstanding does not require an emergency dispatch," he said. The words landed clean. No emotion. Just fact. Morales took another step, positioning himself closer to Ethan now. Not touching. Not crowding. Just there. Ethan noticed. His shoulders tightened. His hands stayed low, open, like he was trying to show he was not part of the problem anymore. The shift was obvious. Reed turned his head slightly toward the storefront again. "The cameras. Always the cameras. We will be requesting footage from the plaza system," he said. "That will confirm sequence and statements." Linda's eyes snapped back to him. That hit. Harder than anything else. "You do not need footage," she said quickly. "I already told you what happened." Reed held her gaze. "And you now say it was a misunderstanding," he replied. That gap hung there, wide and visible. Linda opened her mouth, then closed it again. No immediate answer. The crowd felt it. Phones tilted slightly. Someone whispered again, louder this time. The name carried clearer now. Not just a guess. Recognition. Ethan heard it too. His head turned slightly toward the sound. His expression changed. Not panic. Not yet. But the certainty he had earlier was gone. He looked at me again. Really looked this time. The way you do when something does not add up. Reed noticed that shift instantly. He stepped half a pace closer to me, not blocking, not shielding, just aligning. "Sir," he said again, calm, deliberate, "would you like to provide a statement?" The question was simple. But the weight behind it was not. Linda reacted immediately. "No," she said, stepping forward again. "He does not need to say anything. This is resolved." Her voice rose at the end, just enough to betray the control she was trying to hold. Morales raised his hand slightly. "Ma'am," he said, firmer now, "you do not control this process." That sentence landed like a door closing. Linda froze for a second. Just one. Then she pulled her shoulders back again, trying to rebuild the posture she had at the start. But it did not fit the same anymore. The space had changed. The rules had changed. Reed did not look at her. Not anymore. His attention stayed on me. Waiting. Always waiting. Giving me the moment. The same moment he had been holding open since he stepped out of the cruiser. I looked at the ground once more. The broken eggs. The crushed carton. The spilled sauce. Every piece exactly where it fell. Then I looked up at him. The noise around us faded again. The crowd. The traffic. The hum of the plaza. All of it pulled back. Linda took a small step closer, like she was trying to interrupt before something irreversible happened. But she was a second too late. And she knew at the moment I finally spoke. I let the silence hold for one more second. Long enough for every phone to steady. Long enough for Linda to lean forward, ready to cut me off. Then I spoke, calm and flat. "My name is Daniel Carter." I did not raise my voice. I did not rush the words. Reed's posture locked in place the moment I said it. Morales went still beside him. The shift was instant. Clean. Linda blinked once. The name did not land yet. Not fully. And I am the chief of police for this city. That one did. It moved through the air like a current. You could feel it hit people in waves. The crowd reacted first. A murmur. Then quiet again. Phones did not drop. They held tighter. Linda's smile disappeared completely. Not faded. Gone. Her shoulders dropped a fraction before she caught herself and forced them back up. That is not possible, she said, but her voice had changed. Lower. Less certain. Reed stepped back half a pace and straightened fully. Chief, he said, clear, respectful. The word carried across the lot. No confusion now. No room left. Morales mirrored the movement, his stance shifting from observation to formal presence. Linda looked between them, fast, trying to find a break in the pattern that was no longer there. This is some kind of misunderstanding, she said, repeating her earlier line, but it did not sound the same. It sounded smaller. I nodded once, not to agree, but to acknowledge the word. There is a misunderstanding, I said. You believed you could use emergency services to enforce private rules on public property. I gestured lightly toward the storefront sign behind her. City owned. Clear as day. Linda followed the motion again. She had seen it before. Now it meant something. Ethan took another step back, creating more distance between himself and both of us. His eyes stayed on me now. Fully. No smirk. No boredom. Just calculation. He was trying to understand how fast things had changed. Reed did not speak. He did not need to. The structure was already in place. I looked at Linda again. You reported a threat, I continued. You confirmed no physical contact. No weapon. No attempt to leave. Each point matched what she had already said. Out loud. On record. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. The sequence had closed around her. Clean. Legal. Complete. Morales reached up and adjusted his body camera, angling it slightly toward Linda. Not aggressive. Just precise. Documentation. Linda noticed that too. Of course she did. I was trying to protect my son, she said, finally finding a sentence she could hold on to. It sounded different now. Not authority. Just defense. I nodded once. Then we will document that, I said. Along with the false emergency call and attempted enforcement beyond HOA jurisdiction. The word settled heavier than anything before. Not because they were loud. Because they were final. The kind of words that turn into reports. Files. Consequences. Linda's hand tightened around her phone. The same phone she had used to call this in. The same phone still connected to dispatch minutes ago. The same phone that had started everything. Reed glanced at her, then at me, waiting for the next instruction. The moment had fully shifted now. No more gray space. No more confusion about who controlled it. Ethan swallowed once, his gaze dropping briefly to the ground, then back up again. He understood enough now. Not everything. But enough. The crowd held steady. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the wind felt quieter. Linda took a small step back without realizing it. Just one. But it was the first step she had taken away from control instead of toward it. And she knew she could not take it back. Reed did not hesitate. He turned slightly toward Morales. Begin documentation, he said, calm and direct. Morales nodded once and stepped closer to Linda, not touching her, just anchoring the space around her. The shift was complete now. No more debate. No more noise. Just process. Linda's eyes moved quickly, searching for something to grab onto. Authority. Control. Anything. You cannot do this, she said, but her voice had lost its edge. It sounded thinner now. Reed met her gaze. Ma'am, you initiated an emergency response under false pretenses, he said. We are required to document and forward this for review. The word review landed heavy. Not immediate punishment. Worse. Procedure. Paperwork. A trail that does not disappear. Ethan looked at his mother again. Really looked this time. Not for direction. For answers. She did not have any left. I bent down slowly and picked up the loaf of bread near my feet. It was still sealed. Clean. I set it aside on the edge of a nearby cart return. One small piece recovered from the mess. The simple act pulled a few eyes back to me. Not as the center of conflict anymore. As the one who never needed to raise his voice. Reed watched it too, then returned his focus to Linda. Do you have anything else you would like to add to your statement? He asked. Final chance. Clear and recorded. Linda. Swallowed. Her phone lowered an inch in her hand. The same phone that had started this. The same phone now capturing the end of it. No, she said quietly. The word barely carried. But it was enough. Morales made a small note on his device. Time. Response. Status. Each detail locked in. Ethan shifted again, stepping further back until he was nearly aligned with the golf cart. The amber light blinked beside him, steady and fake. He glanced at it once, then away. He understood now. Not everything. But enough to know the line had been crossed. Reed gave a short nod. Understood, he said. Then he turned slightly toward me, posture straight, voice respectful. Chief, would you like to proceed with formal charges or have this referred for administrative review? The question was mine now. The weight of it settled clean. I looked at Linda. Her shoulders had dropped again. This time she did not try to lift them back up. The performance was over. What remained was smaller. Real. I let the silence sit for a second, then spoke. Refer it, I said. Full report. Include misuse of emergency services and unauthorized enforcement representation. Reed nodded once. Yes, sir. Simple. Final. Morales stepped back, giving Linda space again, but it felt different now. Not freedom. Just distance. The crowd began to shift, slowly, like the scene had released them. Phones lowered. Whispers started again, softer this time. The tension drained out of the air, replaced by something quieter. I picked up the orange from earlier, the one still in my hand, and turned it once. Bruised, but intact. Like the moment itself. I walked past the spilled groceries, past the broken shelves, past the line that had been drawn and held. No one stopped me. No one spoke. Behind me, Reed's voice resumed, steady, procedural, guiding the next steps that no longer needed me to lead. And Linda finally understood what she had actually called into motion.